Okay, now we're going to do example 2.2, and we're asked to find the slope of the curve y equals 3x minus x squared at 0, 0, and and 3/2 9/4. So we're looking for the slope of the curve right here, and then we're looking for the slope of the curve right there. So this is 3/2 9/4. This is 0, 0, and we're looking for the slope at those points. And we're going to use the limit definition of the derivative, and so that tells us that the slope at a point m of x comma y on this curve is going to be the limit as delta x goes to 0 of f of x plus delta x minus f of x all over delta x. And now I like to do a substitution. I like to let h equal delta x, just because delta x is a variable, but I think people get confused when they see a delta x in there. They don't know if it's an x or a delta x. So I'm going to just do a quick simplification, and I'll rewrite this whole thing as limit as h goes to 0 of f of x plus h minus f of x all over h. So I just substituted anywhere where there was a delta x, I made it an h. I think it's just cleaner. Okay, now I need to actually write down what f is. F is 3x minus x squared. So I'm taking the limit as h goes to 0 of 3, and then anywhere where there's an x, I'm just going to put a parentheses for now. So it's 3 times something minus something squared. Okay, that's my first copy. And then I'm going to write it again. So this is 3 times something minus something squared. And that's all over h. Now the first time, because I'm looking at f of x plus h, I'm going to plug in x plus h here and x plus h there. Anytime where there's an x in f of x, I plug in x plus h. And then over here I plug in just x, because that's the f of x part. Okay? And now I take the limit. I just do a little bit of algebra in this limit. I take 3x plus 3h minus x squared minus 2xh minus h squared. So there I'm just, this part right here, I'm just foiling the x plus h squared and distributing that negative sign in. Okay? So that's the whole first part. And now I have minus 3x and then plus x squared. So all I did there to get this plus x squared is distribute that negative sign in. So a negative times a negative is a positive. Okay, and this whole thing is over h. And now the beauty of the derivative definition of the limit definition of the derivative is that anything that doesn't have an h attached to it cancels. You have the 3x and the negative 3x cancel, and then the x squared and the negative x squared cancel, and what I'm left with is the limit as h goes to 0 of 3h minus 2x times h minus h squared all over h. And now you can factor out an h out of the top. So I get the limit as h goes to 0 of 3 minus 2x minus h times h. So all I did there was factor out an h. And if you distribute that h back in, you get 3h minus 2xh minus h squared. But factoring out that h allows me to cancel the h on the top and the bottom. So finally I get that the slope is going to be the limit as h goes to 0 of 3 minus 2x minus h. And so plugging in h equals 0 just gives me 3 minus 2x. And so what I've just found is that the slope at any point on this curve is going to be dependent on x. It's going to be 3 minus 2 times x. That's the slope for any point here. So at 0, 0, I get the slope is 3 minus 2 times 0, or just 3. So that tells me the slope of this line right here is 3. And at 3/2 9/4, I'm going to get that the slope is 3 minus 2 times 3/2. Well, that's 3 times 3, or 3 minus 3, or 0. And that shouldn't be too surprising because it looks like this thing has slope 0. It's a horizontal line at that point.